You're good.
Well, we can explain it first.
Explain it. We'll go just an overview, and then we'll open up the public hearing. Okay.
Good evening, Luigi Palessi with ABD Engineers and Surveyors, here representing the Nices. This project's on Depot Road. It entails two existing tax parcels. The original line is here. It's about 5 acres total, and it's in the Hamlet zoning. What we're doing is proposing a 5-lot subdivision with 5 single-family homes with driveways off of Depot Road. There's public sewers along the back in an easement that's town-owned. So grinder pumps would be required for each of these residential homes to tie into the public sewer. There's no public water, so each lot will have its own individual well. We did had a wetland delineation done, and that's in the easterly portion of the property. Each lot will have a single-family home, and a building permit or plot plan will be submitted at the time of a building permit. At the last meeting, we discussed the well capabilities. We reached out to Lawrence Wells, and just up the road on Van Patten, we had a well log from Lawrence, and it actually produced 40 gallons a minute. So we believe that the wells for each of these lots would be sufficient. Other than that, I know we discussed some notes to be added to the final plat regarding the well, that the well to be drilled prior to a building permit. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
We're also people, just left it, we need to open the public hearing.
Oh,
So I'm gonna make a motion to open the public hearing for the Knees. Subdivision.
I'll second.
Chairman or Vice Chairman Harris,
Yes.
Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt,
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Board Member Howell.
If you could state your name and then.
Yeah, it's right at the intersection of 7. Yeah. And then, like, if you continue up Depot Road, it runs into Van Patten.
Before it goes down.
It's
South side, actually. Yeah.
These lots are kind of behind the old cobblestone church.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they're behind the.
Behind my house.
In my house.
I have a couple of questions, more than concerns. One is that has any consideration been given to having one well for the 5? Since
No.
is this
Can't do that.
plan, is this going to be built or is this going to be sold on each? In other words, the house is going to come in all at once, or is this individual lots being sold?
Yeah, each lot will be developed as they sell, right? So after the subdivision, they'll go up on the market. And there's a chance that, one of these 5 lots will be under construction, or you could have 2 or 3 at a time. It all depends on, the buyers.
And are these all going to be single family houses?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess my question about the individual well for the 5 of them doesn't make sense if they're not coming in at once. The other thing is that wetland was a concern for us once in the past, in that there was a redirecting of some of the water up there that then our house would be down on the upper right-hand side there on the north side.
Other side of the road.
And the other side of the road. And water came down over the road 10 inches deep, and over into our garage and on down below. cause some damage to. stuff like that. But anyway, the potential there is great for redirecting of the water because it comes down from Pine Grove Farm right down to that pond that's up above their wetland area. Actually, what the wetland helps to dissipate it. I think when it became more of a pond, then it overflowed and then went all down at once. So that was a major thing for us. The Kinesis took care of that. We haven't had any problems since in the way that they've done it. But and that because they would it's
Where is your house?
Other side of the road.
Oh, the watches are on the other side of the road.
Oh, you're on the other side, but you're.
Yeah, but Denise is up.
and so that would be. I'd like the assurance that that's been taken into consideration and that there's proper access for that water to go somewhere else than over our property. Because it would be considerable.
No, I'm sorry.
The other thing is, I understand that these lots within the hamlet, is that correct? The whole hamlet residential, and that 1 acre is what's approved for hamlet residential.
Yeah, that's what we're proposing. Overall, it's a little over 5 acres and these are 1 acre lots.
So that conforms.
Yeah, we're not asking for any variances, correct?
I am concerned about Depot Road, and particularly up at the other end of it, where it goes into town and that turn, and that's always been a problem. They really have it so that it flooding puddle and stuff on one side. It's not a good turnaround. So more traffic could be a problem there, and the other is at the other end. Reconstruction on Depot Road on the other side of the railroad bridge that is going to make it so the cars can come through there more quickly.
They already raised the.
A lot of speed. Our houses. It's a concern. I mean, it's a county road, so it's not anything that the town can address in terms of the road. I realize that, but I don't know what to do about that concern. It's a concern of ours, so I think those are.
I would just say, as far as traffic goes, there was no trip generations done or anything but 5 residential homes. In my opinion, would not generate, increased traffic that you could even distinguish it amongst, if you did a trip generation in a model.
It's amazing how much few homes have gone up above us, along Depot Road and Sky Drive. But again, that's concerned without.
In terms of the wetlands, this regulated water body, they would have to consult with the Army Corps where they could do anything, and they shouldn't need to do anything. There should be sufficient room on site. I don't think they'd want to build up on a slope there. So, but if that gives you any comfort,
There are at times cattails all through there, so I would assume that means it's quite wet in the field. Yeah. So I would assume that would indicate there's quite a bit of water in there.
There could be, yeah.
Yeah.
So, just, who did you have delineated again?
It was Van Gelder, Kevin Wheat. That's It's noted on the later.
We have, this is Elaine and I'm Linda, and we have houses. Which ones are ours, or maybe
I think we're.
like
kind of in
these
the
two
middle.
or these two?
What's your name?
Linda Fem, Them. It will say, McDonald, or it'll say Allen. That's a previous owner, not us. Which one is it?
It's, this one here, Alan.
Okay, and this is Elaine. Okay, so we own these two houses here. This house here as well. Behind we have figured out, according to where the easement is on the, on either side of the sewer. We thought it was our property. There's a knotweed invasion here, which is horrendous all the way across here. Elaine and I have cut it down. We've removed now, mind you, look at the two of us. We are
We're in our
not,
seventies.
yeah, we're in our 70s. We removed the knots, roots and
Yeah.
all, hauled it all to the soil conservation place, put down two 40 by 60, tarps,
20
20
by
by
40.
20 by 40 tarps,
Another-
and another tarp. So it's all tarped. I have pictures if you want to see it. And
Oh my God, it's a nightmare.
we think it's all on his property.
Yes.
And we probably put in probably $1,000, and we're not asking for reimbursement, but we need help because it's not making a difference.
No,
It's coming back out from under the tarp.
It's very.
Japanese
invasive.
knotweed.
You gotta control it with weed killer, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've tried, you can't. There's so much of it there. So is he planning? It looks like this is gonna be a lot for sale.
Yeah, I don't know what the intent is back there. We can't do much because of the sewer easement, right? That's the town easement back there, 30 foot wide. So I don't know what the intent would be.
That's why,
back there.
that's why those houses have sewer, because.
I don't know how to address not weed.
I don't think it. I think it
Bamboo.
affects the subdivision
No.
in any, it's not material to the subdivision in any way. There's invasive species all over New York State.
CMC is trying to kill invasive species wherever they can.
Yeah.
And, I would suggest, and this is really not related to the subdivision, but I would suggest did you talk to Cornell about ways to control and kill knotweed?
But we've researched this color blue in the face. That's why we tried everything, including the tarps. They say the tarps have to stay down 5 to 10 years to kill what's underneath them.
I think the
We
question
spent
though is that
$500.
they are off of their property. I believe they thought it was their property and they're actually on the Kinesis property.
Yeah, it's actually on, we believe it's actually on the Kinesis property. Now, those lots are not gonna sell. You've got knotweed all the way across the back of the lot, because what it's doing is spreading completely across the field. It has to be addressed. So I understand that has nothing to do with the approval of the subdivision, but it's an issue that has to be addressed somehow.
We can pass it along to the applicant and see what they have to do to address it.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything we can do.
You're right.
Well, I don't think the applicant has to address it.
Right.
I don't believe there's anything that entitles or requires the applicant to address
Yeah.
an invasive species. So,
There's no legal requirement
Yeah.
to kill invasive species.
no, and, Whether people buy the lots or not, that's the market. It's people will or won't. I don't think that's forward to.
But the applicant may not be aware of the situation, so it's certainly worth sharing with them.
Yeah.
It is very.
He is partially, he is aware because a portion of it we thought was on his property. I asked permission from him if we could spray it. Which we did, and it's not doing it. So, but now we realize that most, if not all of it, is on his property.
Well, we appreciate you bringing it to everybody's attention. Thank you very much, you know.
All right. Thank you.
Anyone else like to make a comment?
No, I don't.
Back there?
My name is Eric Lucy. I'm my wife. We are at 6560 Williamsburg Road. I'd like to know where these lots are in conjunction with our property line.
There's a location map up at the top. You want to come forward and look at it, it's pretty small. It's absolutely fine. Maybe, maybe.
Right here. Property. There's. Where are you?
Yeah, so you're about here.
I don't think we're.
My next question, what are the setbacks off the Depot Road? How far, this is my house here, how far off the road is this?
So this line here is 300 feet.
How far off is the house off the Depot?
I don't know, maybe 100 feet.
Is that in granite or can they put the house anywhere they
They can
want?
put the house anywhere they want within the setbacks, of course.
Where are the setbacks?
So front setbacks are 20, sides 15, and
So
rears
it can't be further back than what?
30 feet in the rear. So if they really wanted to build a house, they could build a house within 30 feet of the rear yard. Rear line.
So,
I don't know.
But I don't see why they would do that. It'd be a longer driveway. You know, We're proposing something more realistic, you know, you want to be a little off Depot Road, the house is a little further back rather than on top of the road. So we're putting it kind of in the middle here.
Are there any plans on to the size of those, heights of the homes?
We don't know at this time.
They would still have to meet all the typical zoning code regulations for heights and, lot coverage and everything else.
We're not playing a hardship county, but, my wife and I saved 27 years to buy a house. We could have bought a house anywhere we wanted and showed this lot, this property. And the only reason was it's from backyard view. That's all exactly the use. And looking at someone's back of their house now, it's actually purpose, so. I'd like to purchase that lot, it's not available, I'm still in that lot. So I'm not interested in letting it back, so it's not something that we'd be able to find out prior to buying this home. From a sworn, this was not a buildable lot.
It was not.
Told it was not a buildable
Oh,
lot.
it was always a
4 years
buildable lot.
later, well, we were told it's not by the county. 4 years later, we're putting houses there.
We have the approval for the two, like 15 or 20 years ago. Before that, it was a single.
We're told because of septic and other reasons.
Somebody was gonna tell you that was.
That was likely before the sewer system was extended.
But even then, there was a buildable lot for two.
Yeah, that's why the county told you that.
After this is subdivided, you're more than welcome to buy all 5 lots, I'm sure.
I only 10 acres across the street from us. It's an even trade.
We have the minimum setbacks and stuff out here in the code. Yeah. So this is the what H.
Yeah.
And that says, way to do it. And this is It's also on the town website under.
So you're out.
Yeah.
No problem.
I don't think it's really, I mean.
Any other comments? Questions? Okay, you can make a motion to close the public hearing for the Kenese major subdivision.
I'll second.
Vice Chairman Harris,
Yes.
Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt, yes. Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Board Member Houghton.
Yes.
Reread that. Town of Waynesburg Planning Board has reviewed and evaluated these 5-lot residential subdivision located on Depot Road for environmental impacts in accordance with the State Environmental Quality Review Act, including submission of Part 1 of the Short Environmental Assessment Form and completion of Part 2 and 3 of the Short Environmental Assessment. On Part 2 of the form, impact assessment, no impacts were identified as moderate to large. The proposed subdivision is consistent with the town comprehensive plan, zoning ordinance, and complies with the town subdivision ordinance. Any proposed future development shall require temporary soil erosion control measures to be installed prior to earth disturbance and to be maintained throughout construction. The northern long-eared bat may be present in the area, and any tree cutting will be restricted to November 1 to March 31st to avoid potential impacts to the species. Federal wetlands are present on the site and shall be avoided during construction. If this is not possible, consultation will occur with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to obtain any necessary permits in accordance with federal and state requirements. For these reasons, the Town of Waynesburg Planning Board, as lead agency for SECR, has determined that the project will have no significant adverse environmental impacts in accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law and issues a negative declaration for the subdivision.
Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Board Member Houghton,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt, yes. Vice Chairman Harris,
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman.
Yes.
So, Chris, did you get the county referral back to this one?
Yeah, I believe so. Got a couple bags back in.
Sorry, we didn't look at your-
Thank you.
Down.
One question. So we did discuss development layers, and you're gonna propose language, so. you ready?
Yeah. Well, to be drilled prior to building permit. Right, any well to be drilled prior to a building permit, or something in that nature, right?
I think that was.
Yeah, the county said that, yeah, the county said, the town may wish to require the applicant to demonstrate that the plat has an adequate potable water supply prior to final approval. Filing information or reporting the utility easement should be shown on the final plan. So I think you do show the utility easement that's in existence there. You have the sewer utility on there.
Yes, yeah, it's on there.
All right, that's on there. So it's really, it's up to the planning board. You could require them to drill a potable well before you, as a condition of preliminary subdivision approval, if you wish. The only reason why I say that is because the Dollar General has had significant trouble getting water in that area, which seems fairly anomalous, but I'm just saying that's up to the planning board. And I think that's the origin of the county's comment, because we've never gotten that comment before.
Oh, I would say, I mean, really all that's gonna protect is the home buyer, you know, that they don't build a house, spend, you know, $200,000-$300,000 to build a house and they can't get water, you know? So I think the note protects the home buyer, you know, potential home buyer.
And I don't think, I mean, personally, I don't think you can condition or subdivision because we've heard that maybe those lots never get done. So it necessary to. But yeah, there's no on there for the home buyer. That's where, yeah.
Well, and Luigi gave me a copy of the the house there too, so should make sure we have the town records. But the conditions would be potable well before building permit, realty subdivision from the county, right, Luigi, because you're 5 lots?
Yes.
Yeah, then they need realty subdivision and then county DPW approval on the driveways. Yeah. And I think
Well, that would be done.
they're not seeking any area variances, there's no issues there. And, oh, Liz, you said seasonal bat clearing restrictions. Okay, we gotta add those. And the other thing is, I think we can just say avoid the federal wetlands, yeah. Which are marked on the plan. Those were the only conditions I saw. I'll bring it to you. Thank you for not making me. Yeah, so you can, it's County Department of Environmental Health Realty Subdivision. And that applies to any resident, excuse me, any subdivision with 5 lots.
Okay, so that's a county department that has to.
Yeah,
Okay.
they stand for plans. Yeah,
Because they want to look at it, make sure that either you can have septic systems fit on the lot without conflicting with the well, or that there's a municipal system that they can tie into.
right, and the other condition, which we're not used to being in the area, but they get a sewer connection permit from the town. I assume you issue that at the same time you issue the building permit, right?
Mostly, yes. You don't have to, but yes.
So that's all. I mean, if anybody wants to make a motion, I can.
I'll make a motion to approve the Denise 5 lot subdivision on Depot Road. With
Okay, I'll read it down.
or as previously read.
No, it's okay. There'll be a potable well drilled before the permit is issued for each lot. And that the County Department of Environmental Health Realty Subdivision approval be obtained. And the County Department of Public Works and Engineering approval of the driveways. And that the tree clearing be limited to between Halloween and April Fool's Day. For any tree clearing. That they avoid the federal wetlands and that they apply for a sewer connection permit.
Okay. Yep. Sorry. I'll second that. Oh, John seconded it?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's not listening.
Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Board Member Howell,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt. Yes. Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Novak. Thank you. Six reading, all right. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. The next public hearing involves a minor subdivision from John James on Chadwick Road. By one lot, two lots. Public hearing, John, when just, minutes.
Oh, look at you.
No. Where are we at? That's,
No.
I gotta go back.
There-
There we go. That's you.
That's you.
That's you.
All right.
This is the 5.36 acres that I'm giving to my granddaughter for growing up. And it's Chadwick Road right there. This is the Schenectady County line. So where you get to Elgin County on Chadwick Road. There's no wetlands, and it's on a hill. Good hayfield. Building a house.
Now we have to make a motion to open the public hearing for the John James subdivision.
I'll second.
Who's that? Seth. Mike?
That was me.
No, man. All right, Chairman Schmidt. Yes. Board Member Hoffman.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Novak.
Yes.
Board Member Houghton.
Yes.
Okay, so we invite the public to comment, this is the opportunity.
I'm Jonathan Knox, 471 Darby Hill. I'm your neighbor, actually. I'm terrible at math, so maybe you'll help me. Which side of Chadwick is this on?
It's on the east side.
Okay, so opposite side from me. You're drilling a well? Excellent. Already existing there? Good, I'm going. I just wanted to make sure you weren't gonna be like messing up anything along our border. You're not, I'm fine. 471 Darby Hill, we're the really old farmhouse that's, if you go back on the field on the west side and continue going west, when you hit woods, that's us. I can show you, I have a topo map on my phone after.
Is that where, that's on Darby Hill, is that where Art White used to, the little house there? Yes. Okay, let's go.
It was more than a couple months ago. We've been there like 10 years. Judy used to live there.
I should do.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 year.
Yeah. Well, pleasure to meet you.
That's why we have public hearing.
It's a very long way to his house.
Is that an opportunity to comment? Close the public hearing, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for the John James minor subdivision. I'll second that. Chairman Schmidt? Yes. Vice Chairman Harris?
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman?
Yes.
Board Member Novak?
Yes.
Board Member Howell?
Yes.
Okay, can we do this for the public hearing because of the other lots? So that I agree.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Can you read the?
So I will reaffirm our preliminary determination for the James subdivision. The Town of Waynesburg Planning Board reviewed the James subdivision, including part 1, 2, and 3 of the short environmental assessment form, using and reviewing the PC environmental mapper. The only issue of concern is the potential presence of the northern long-eared bat, which may be present on the property. Therefore, tree cutting should be restricted during April 1st through October 31st of any year. For these reasons, the project will have no significant adverse environmental impacts, and the town planning board issues a negative declaration for the minor James two-lot subdivision. So I will make that motion.
Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Board Member Houghton,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt. Yes. Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman.
Yes.
Okay. We're in good shape there.
You have the county referral on this one? I think the Chadwick is the county road, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
How much time did you do that? Or it has to have the more true.
Well, these are. We did this as a minor subdivision, so depending on when we see Mr. Jameson again,
Okay.
probably it would be a major.
Okay.
So,
Didn't get that back yet.
okay. So we're gonna have to wait to act on it at the next meeting because we didn't get the county referral. Okay, but that should be it. Don't have any reason to think that we won't get it by the next meeting. Are you sure we didn't get it back sooner? Because you would have sent it a while ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it on
We are a little discombobulated here.
Yeah, and I don't even get to see those, so I don't know what we got back and what we don't, unless it's in here.
It's generally Josh and Liz have them in there. I don't have them. Yeah, I don't have it. But I can call Steve Feeney and ask him if we can have it by the next meeting. Okay? Is that gonna mess up any plans?
In the
No. They have 30 days, but, you know, if, we like to have it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But we're still not within, it's still not 30 days.
no, he didn't have to get it to us, but he's usually quick, he's very quick. So we'll definitely have you for the next one, so that's June 20th. Is that okay?
So.
We have run across that before. That happened to somebody in a subdivision that Charlie Rhodes was built. So, yeah, let us think about that. And when you come in next, we'll talk about that, okay? It would be better to have brought it in now if that's what you wanted to do. It would make things easier, but you're not ready to do that. Okay, all right. Okay, well, we'll think about it. I mean, you know, presumably you don't have any intention of subdividing beyond that. Okay, maybe there's something we can do with that. In terms of a note on the plan or something.
I'll make them. Yeah, go ahead, please.
I'll make a motion to table the James subdivision. Yes.
Alderman Novak,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt. Yes. Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Board Member Howland,
Yes.
and Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Move on. For the benefit of the audience, Mike walk over. The table. So he's a board member, been with us for quite a while. Next public hearing would be South Fusco, 756 Wolf Road. End of the major subdivision that was approved a year or two ago.
Thanks.
We got about another lot now. So, give us a description and we'll open up the vote.
Thank you, Luigi Pellecci, with ABD Engineers and Surveyors, representing South Fusco on Wells Road. As Chairman mentioned, we were here not too long ago, and this is a subdivision amendment. Includes this lot, lot number 1, which was about 26 acres or so. And what Mr. Fusco would like to do is subdivide this 26 acres and create another lot. His existing home is here and barn. It has its own well and septic system. That'll all remain. And then on this new lot number 2, there's an existing barn there that he would like to convert to a residence. We're proposing a well and a septic system for that lot number 2. The wetlands were delineated on the previous subdivision. We're not impacting anything. I know I mentioned this at the last meeting. If you recall, we actually had this on the subdivision plan. There were 2 existing barns in this corner that were over the setback line. And at the time, Mr. Fusco didn't really want to take the barns down, but when he moved in to lot number 1, he realized the barns weren't in really good condition. So he called me up and said, yeah, I'd like to pursue this. So we're amending the subdivision. So if there's any questions from the board, I'd be happy to answer them.
Structures are already down.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep. So the 2 structures came down and, we're not asking for any variances for either of these lots.
Okay, with that description, I'll make the motion to open up the public hearing so we can receive comments.
Yeah, I'd like to hear
Oh,
on Wilson.
Hold on, you gotta finish.
I'm gonna go. All right. Go ahead.
I'll second.
Chairman Schmidt is. Vice Chairman, I'm sorry, Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris,
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Board Member Howland.
Anybody have comments?
What clarification on some of
Please
this
state your name.
by Wilson? In a border of the 6.27 acres, which was labeled lot 1. Okay? Originally, the 76 acres was divided into 6 lots. Okay? That was the original application. When it was, ended up being approved, they had combined lot 2 and lot 3. Lot 2 was 16.44 acres. Lot 3 was 8.17 acres, which became 24.61 acres. That is the property that Mr. Fusco lives on, and yet he states that he lives on 5 acres. I'm confused by that. So what I'm confused with now is that they're calling that he wants to now split that back off, and now he's calling the main one lot 2, and the other one now becomes, or lot 1, and the other one becomes lot 2. I'm confused. What about lot 1, which was bordering me?
So you're this property to the east?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so on the original subdivision, this
Yep.
was lot one, you're correct. And
Yep.
This was two, and we went all the way
Yep, and
around.
then they combined lot 2 and lot 3.
That's correct. So
And that
now
became
we're
lot
in
two.
for a subdivision amendment, so we're not touching this lot. This lot has already been assigned a tax parcel, it's its own lot. And this is where Mr. Fusco owns the 24.6 acres. So this map is an amendment to the original. And we're only looking at this parcel, this 24.6 acres. And we gotta call it something, so I called this one lot 1 and that one lot 2.
Okay,
So it doesn't matter, at the end of the day, it's 6 lots, right?
it's, yeah,
Yeah,
it goes back to 6, but in the sketch plan review, it says it was broken into to create 4 lots. That is not correct. It's broken to equal 5 lots from the original 6 lots. So some of the information doesn't match what was done.
yeah, you might be mixing up the previous or original application. The application that we submitted here is an amendment to add this additional lot.
Right, but he says the acres broken up last year created 4 lots. Last year, there was 5 lots.
Created a
Plus the original.
4 lots plus the
Oh,
original.
plus the original one.
Yeah.
But the way it's worded, it sounded like there was 4 lots instead of 5 lots, so I was confused by it.
It helps to think of the one that left is parent parcel. And then the ones that are created and the ones that are created. So that way you always have one that's left.
So what you're saying right now is that he's gonna continue to stay on the 16.91 acres. And the one that's now becoming lot 2 is gonna be 7.70 acres.
That's correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Yep, the 2 lots there, yep, 16.9 is lot 1 and 7.7 is lot 2, yep.
So my question is, how many times is he gonna come back for the lots to be subdivided and subdivided and subdivided? That's my concern, because as I talked before, it's a rural community. Every plan that you guys have put in is that you're going to strive to keep the communities rural. And yet I'm seeing more and more and more and more houses going up. So, and I'm hearing it not just from me, I'm hearing that same thing being repeated by other people who are sitting next to places that are getting subdivided and houses going up next to them. So it doesn't make sense that you're proposing in your plan that you put out to keep things rural, and yet what I'm seeing is you're approving subdivision after subdivision after subdivision. That's how I feel about it. 'Cause some of us have lived in the area for 30, 40 years. Now, all of a sudden, a lot of people feel they're being encroached on. They're feeling that, I'll give you a perfect example. The road that I live on is, there's land on it that is farm. Not to, and I am gonna do it, Mr. Fusco finds it very convenient for him to go speeding up and down the road, which I already said is a subpar road to begin with. There are farmers that are farming the land there, that are pulling tractors onto the road. They're pulling hay bales onto the road. They're pulling, machinery on the road. And yet, people who are moving into that area through these subdivisions don't show any respect whatsoever. Basically, my neighbor had to pull off the road and move over because Mr. Fusco decided he was gonna pass him and almost went onto the neighbor's lawn because he felt it was important to get down to his house in a quick fashion. My concern is the more subdivisions on these rural roads is gonna cause a lot of people that are not gonna be happy. They're gonna end up moving out of the district. I think that needs to be looked at, and I think it needs to be considered. So he's subdividing, he wants to subdivide, there goes another lot. How many houses can be built on that lot? I mean, he would subdivide again, what, 2.24 acres or whatever it is to build a house? So where does it end, is what I'm asking.
There's more limits to just the acreage, you also have to have a certain amount of frontage.
Certain amount of setback.
Yes, so there's other parameters in there.
Right,
like-
I understand that, but I'm just asking that question. What
Well,
is
I mean,
your,
we don't set zoning, the planning board doesn't set zoning, we don't set the rules. Applicants and property owners have the right to develop their property as long as it's being developed in accordance with the zoning codes and laws and requirements that are put forth by and approved by the town board. So we as a board can't arbitrarily deny a subdivision because, well, we just don't want a subdivision.
so what do the other landowners, what recourse do they have?
If I'm not on the property. I mean, I love for the, large lots. I think all of us will have, everyone have large lots in town, but that's it.
That's forcing the inevitable on people that probably, most people cannot afford that. So they're forced to put up with their lives becoming an upheaval.
Everybody in this town lives on a lot that was originally subdivided from some. So do you start tomorrow or do you start what happened yesterday? Take your lot. Was that subdivided off of a large portion years and years and years ago? And it was okay for that to be done, but not for this one?
I could not tell you, but
It's kind
I
of,
mean, I feel right now that you're guilting me into
no, it's
not feeling the way that I feel based on your opinion.
No, I think we all.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Echo your statement. Essentially, all we can do as a planning board is really follow and make sure that what they're proposing is in compliance with the zoning ordinance. So I think a lot of folks do have concerns over development, certainly. And I think, definitely appreciate your comments, and it might be worth, writing to the town board, because they have control over the zoning ordinance. We did have a collaborative team recently update the comprehensive plan, so we do,
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
so, and that is a guide.
Clearly
so-
states that they're going to keep the key lanes for a rural area. Yeah, I'm not exactly, doesn't match what is happening.
So I think at this point, so what you don't see is where you're coming in and putting in like a development road and subdividing off like 1 acre lots like you would see like in a suburban development. So at least these lot sizes are, even though we are being subdivided, at least they're 5 acres. You're not seeing like what you would see like in Rotterdam where it's,
Well, they are now. But
Yeah.
My question was, how many times is someone that has a subdivision going to be able to come back and have it changed and subdivide it more and more and more?
So I think even like one of these lots, like, so one of these single lots, in many cases, based on the parameters of that new lot, you could not subdivide it, create a new lot based on the current ordinance. Yeah, my name is Barry Large. I live on North Road. I do have a 5 acre lot up on Old Road. I wasn't privy to all this previous subdividing of it and everything. When I saw this, my main concern, were they going to develop those 2 lots into multifamily homes, apartments, or anything like that there, subdivision into multiple homes, and stuff like that?
No,
That already answered that, but that was my main concern.
yeah, those wouldn't be allowed in this R2 zone.
And then they'd have to come back for a special use permit to get a.
I just wanted to know what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be some permitting process they'd have to go through.
Other comments?
Thank you for your comments and, motion to close the public comment period. Southwest Bill. Amendment to the major subdivision.
I'll second.
Chairman Schmidt? Yes. Board Member Novak?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris?
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman?
Yes.
Board Member Walpole? Yes. Board Member Hoffman?
Yes.
So one question we had is those barns that came down, was there appropriate permitting for demo permits both for doing that?
I don't know. They might have blown over in a windstorm. They were that bad.
Something that.
I don't know. Should answer for that.
No building, no demo permit? So we require people to get permits to do things. So we've been having some difficulty impressing that upon people lately, not sure why. So before any plan is signed, you're gonna come in and pay the demo fees to Chris. And Chris is gonna do an inspection, to make sure that everything is.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger issue is they don't come off your tax roll until you get the permit. So you don't want somebody else, you know what I mean? It's, you can't sell the lot. Somebody else is gonna be paying taxes on the two barns that aren't there, you know what I mean? And the assessor, I can tell you, unless you pull the demo permit, he's not taking them off the tax roll. So,
Yeah, we can follow through on that.
yeah, I mean, it's easy.
And they were just agricultural structures, right? Nothing inside.
No electric, not just wood, nothing's finished. Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Any other comments from the board?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to the major subdivision for Salties Go with the one condition that we need to pull a demo permit for finalizing the subdivision.
Chairman Harris?
Yes.
Board Member Novak?
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt? Board Member Hoffman?
Yes.
Board Member Walpole? Yes. Board Member Hoffman?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to old business, we got Thomas Samuelson. The permit to convert a residential building to a two-family dwelling. Apparently it was a two-family dwelling, something in history. Been out there a number of times, you know, a lot of concerns about parking, covering up the well and DOT and where are we now? Not a month ago, we gave you a laundry list of.
Right, I had a list of 6 items.
Yep.
And. That's not what they call them. I had a drawing that showed the white line. That was one of these things, showed the white line. There's no fence shown on drawing. Hope you have that too. There's
We have
the fence here and the fence here, right at the, right away. Department of Health about the well, I guess, you gave us the okay for that. That we put a manhole on it, and then the well cover rating, and 4,000 PSI concrete, it would take 600,000 pounds to crush the concrete. I don't think you can put a tire on there with 600,000 pounds on it. But that's probably not an issue because the DOT one of the other things was ask the DOT to take that soil away. And they weren't interested in that. And the other problem was, we had constructed a drive here, and DOT does not allow but one entrance. So I have another map, if it's, that shows the entrance here. And DOT is okay, you know, they think this is plenty of parking here beyond the 33-foot right of way. It's actually 46 feet or so back from the 33 feet. Town ordinance says you gotta have 9 feet by 20 for each vehicle. And there's plenty of, you know, there's 19 feet wide, which makes more than 2 times 9 is 18. So, and this is 46 or so. So it's easy to put 4 cars in there. And although DOT could not, I asked, can you put that in writing, that the parking's okay? Well, that's not their wheelhouse. Their wheelhouse is the entrance, which I drew, and I hope you had that. I think it's true drawing, but that's what they wanted, and that's what's being approved. He's okay with it, but he can't, you know, that's not something he can say, you know, going by the town ordinance, it's okay. You know, the size of it is okay.
So are they
Right,
telling you
13.2
to take away the parking on the other side or just use the other entrance for that?
Yeah, just use this entrance and not have parking over here, not, because they're not allowed an entrance. They're only allowed one entrance,
Well, why can't they
because you're on right of way.
Yeah, so
The fence.
the DOT has geometric designs for curb cuts, they can only be so wide for a residential.
Yeah,
property.
and I asked her, well, it's a 2-family, you know, we're trying to get a 2-family. And he said, well, it doesn't matter, you know, he did not want to say I was allowed to have another entrance, even though I'm having the pole is going to be moved 9 feet. But National Grid, I guess, they said the top of the pole is falling apart anyway, they needed to change it, so they're gonna move it away, but I really don't need that now, because I'm not allowed to pull in here and park.
If our side by side is actually doable, you know.
The reason we kind of tried to do something here and drop the well and all was that somebody said, well, what if you have visitors, you know? Then you need more than 4 cars. So it was kind of going above and beyond what they had originally asked, but that no longer is doable.
So is DOT telling you to put the fence in too, in front of the?
Yes, they want to remove any gravel here except for the entrance, the gravel here and plant grass. And of course, so there's a fence here. No parking. They want to discourage anybody from pulling there and parking. I understand the town is going to continue this fence to marry this fence. I'm going to have the same kind of fencing as the town has there.
Talked about some sort of fence on top of that retaining wall so that someone didn't get out of a car and fall outside of the retaining wall. That was brought up,
Wasn't on my list.
Right now you have 2 curb stops.
Yes.
And the idea was to put like a bollard or something there so people couldn't drive over it in the winter. That's, you know, we just don't want to see somebody go over, you know, that would be bad. So,
We talked to the kid that was here with you last time about the, you know, the concrete bollards that like they put in at Valero. Yeah, Cumberland Farm has it, yeah.
You know, how high is the first lot?
That's the deepest.
Yeah.
And it tapers to just one block here. It's not even.
Where we're talking about putting those bollards, you're gonna have to review that with the block wall manufacturer, because I don't believe bollard with a 41-inch Versalock wall is going to engineeringly work.
No, they put it before later, but
I understand, but it's still putting pressure on those bollards aren't going to stop anything because the wall is so close to the wall.
yeah.
Well, maybe putting an additional fence in is better, then you have a chance to have these kids drive.
It should be reviewed through block manufacturer, and these companies have engineers. And they'll tell you the appropriate method and.
Serious, we just, because you're in trouble now.
Well, we could say we want to put a fence or dollars, depending on what they recommend.
And they're gonna give you a dimension off of the retaining wall. Because when you look at the detail, Teresa, that he's got in the package, you can see the material, there's 12 drainage aggregate, 12-inch thick minimum. You can't put those bollards in that drainage material, so it's gonna be out further. So now it's gonna change its dimensions of where you can park and everything else.
So why not just a fence on top of that?
More of a visual, not a physical.
Do the visual.
And it does, if we're looking purely at the required space dimensions, there's an extra 4 feet. Miles, but there's 4 feet, so a bollard could be set back. Well, I guess that's what my point is. They're gonna put a bollard in, it's gotta be designed and coordinated with the wall, and they're gonna tell you where you can put it in. It's not gonna be very close to the wall, I can tell you
But
that.
I think we can leave that up to Chris if you wanna make it conditional.
Yeah, I mean, the wall is now a foot above it's also a foot above the parking. Back there too, so it's actually, the wall is higher than the curb stops. So, I mean,
It doesn't look like that when you drive.
that's, the wall's higher. It's not, we're not talking like significantly higher. Yeah. But the gravel's not smooth at the top of the wall. It's not.
I think the concern too is with snow accumulating at the end, that's gonna be right up there.
No.
They're concerned with people driving right over it. At night.
We don't have any pictures with 2 vehicles parked next to each other. You don't just have.
I think
There
somebody
is. There's a, I've done it a couple of times.
Like.
The only thing that this plan here says he's gonna be removing gravel on property that he doesn't own, that's the town's right away. So that's the town's parcel.
Yeah.
You can't remove that. You can remove it to the west of the driveway. Yeah, and that fence is gonna extend essentially to the right of way edge.
Yes. Yeah. They want the fence to be there with a no parking sign.
Yep.
So
On both in front of the house and then along the property line down the other side.
yeah, they want me to remove. Actually, I guess I was thinking they wanted me to remove the, Hamlin's property gravel.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we had put it there, but
Oh,
I'd love to not
it's me responsibility here.
that'd be funny not to remove that. But we do have to remove the gravel here. Up to the fence, wherever that.
A little bit more detail on, what, what's the extra fence? So we all this fence.
Well, my plan is the exact same fence the town has. You get it over Skyway or down the place. Yes. And, what's on my list?
Since we need to have a public hearing, talk to your block guys. Talk to the retaining wall guys to see if you can do a fence for bollards, okay, at the back there. All right, just so you can bring that with you next time.
DOLARDS.
I'm an engineer. That's horrible.
Anything else is getting up for the public hearing, right?
Yep, that's right.
No other action required,
No,
except for these, we want to see this details in the next meeting. So I'm gonna make a motion to set the public hearing for the Thomas Samuelson, the June 20th, planning board meeting. Second.
Chris, do we have a referral back on that one? I just want to make sure we have it by next meeting.
Yeah, I'll make sure, but I'm pretty sure we got this one back.
Yeah, I apologize, I wasn't able to stop by and pick up stuff.
Vice Chairman Harris,
Yes.
Board Member Walpole,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt, Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Board Member Howard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, come on.
One more time.
All right, next project is Kruger Energy. We were here last time, we had just got the coal, town designated engineer, just received this comment. And, we're in a position really to discuss it. They're here tonight. And really get a good grip on what's going on. I think the stormwater issue. 500 for the old, we're getting to say, it's, let us straighten this out, Showing.
So just, my company did some of the studies for this project. I'm just gonna recuse myself from the. It was like the best.
Actually did like 3.
Yes.
You guys know, 3 pictures. No listener in the room.
I'm here with,
Thank you.
here with Doug Warden, our attorney, John McRico, our consulting engineer with roads, the of the land. We're hoping we can answer any questions and move this ahead.
So could you go through what our comments and then we'll have a little exchange here, because we got everybody here tonight. Hopefully iron any issues out that we have. And come up with some nice solutions.
So our second comment letter was issued May 13th. Basically, the letter
documents a lot of things in our initial comment letter that were satisfactorily addressed. And then there's still some more open-ended issues that we have further comment on. We kind of break our letters down into sections based on the different documents that we review. So the first item was the full environmental assessment form, part one. Since issuing the letter, Don did give me a copy of that, and I did review it prior to tonight, so I can report that they did correct the less than, actually the greater than 1 acre sign to a less than 1 acre of what they're currently saying is the construction disturbance. I will say that I'll get into that later on when we talk about adding a table of the different disturbances to the site plan. The other two comments on the environmental assessment form were addressed. Fourth comment, they did change the historical archaeological resource to a yes. I mentioned the vacant Octagon House. Not really near the project, but it's within a sort of business that Shippo makes it. Mention it. On the site plan, that's where I had a comment on the total acre of disturbance. So there are a couple of notes that point to certain disturbances on the plan, such as a 0.18 for contiguous tree removal, 0.15 acres for expansion of existing gravel and stone access roads. But then there's an area that talks about stand of trees and mixed deciduous and evergreens that are going to be removed. So there was not any disturbance amount associated with that. So I asked for a table to be provided so that we can see if that total disturbance is truly under an acre or not. You want to just go over all the comments and they can.
Maybe you should discuss them as.
Yeah.
So just to do with the EAF, you guys got the one that was corrected. You just didn't get it. So the one that you submitted for review is the one that he finally got to.
Yeah, just having.
He didn't get it in a digital file from somebody else, just so clear that we don't have to make changes when you had, that was when you guys got.
So yeah, you're working on a table.
Yeah, we can do that. We were talking about the standing trees, I guess, mostly, which is this little grouping right here. Which is not a definition, we're not considering a contiguous area. These would be contiguous areas down here, if we got into this area down here. Just as if the single tree is not counted in the disturbance, we talked about that, should we count all the trees, the single standing trees that are, and there's other little clumps of trees with 4 or 5 trees on, do we count all those? We can, I'm not saying we don't want, I'm just trying to clarify if we can. So we had a quick discussion, even if we took a stump out, one tree stump out, and used a 10 by 10 square foot.
Yeah.
We could take out, in an acre, you could take out over 400 trees. We surely don't even have probably 100. We had that. That would be in standing trees, not in forested areas. So that's what we talked about, adding to the plan table, saying how many trees, and assuming 10, some might be smaller than 10, but 10 was more than reasonable enough to say.
Where are we with your proposed disturbance right now?
Total acreage?
Yeah.
I think it's, is it 0.18?
Well, you have 0.18 for contiguous tree removal and then another 0.15 for expansion of gravel road.
It's just those two numbers, right? The wetland doesn't count, it's just in the area of the wetland, we just get a total area of the wetlands.
Does the existing road, you are proposing to make that a pervious road, correct?
No, we're leaving it as is, as the existing road it is. Which I guess it's kind of a pervious road, a lot of it's all crushed stone. It's not a DEC standard pervious road, that's what you're asking, but it is pervious, it's all the shell and stone laid out, so it is pervious in nature. what was built. I don't know if you have the existing map, Chris, that might show better. Yeah,
But that road,
yeah, all the dashed line is the existing gravel, stone road.
correct, that was put in non-permanent.
Well, it was put in during the subdivision phase, which we've gone through.
That's right, or something like that.
It was not permitted.
Well, we don't usually require permits for stone roads on property. You know,
If you're over an acre of disturbance, you need to get a DEC permit, whether you're putting in a road in your private property.
we're running MS. We don't regulate things to that
It
level.
doesn't, it's not, the MS four doesn't matter. DEC, if you disturb an acre of ground,
Oh,
you
I'm
need to get a SWIP.
I'm sorry, you mean
Yes.
unpermitted by DEC, not
Yes.
unpermitted by the town.
This was,
That's-
this was the residential, so we can 5 acres.
No, he's.
Right, not disturbance before you require a permit. In residential, it's 5 acres.
No, it's not. It's over 1 acre of disturbance. Anything over 1 acre of disturbance, you need to get a swap. You need to get a SWIP. It's between 1 acres and 5 acres, you don't need post-construction practices, but you still need a basic SWIP.
Right, I'm not saying a basic SWIP, I'm talking, thinking NOIs and all that stuff, like basic.
It's
SWIP.
still an NOI.
The rate erosion control. Right, whatever we're talking about permitting wise, no, that was done during the residential phase of when he cleared the land.
Right, and I think that, I mean, that road is less, a lot less than 1,500 square feet, 1,500 linear feet, times 20 feet wide, that's only 30,000 square foot, that's less than
I have it on the.
Understood. Well, you've got to count.
the
that.
DEC was out there when I put that road in, several times.
Thing is, when you're calculating the total disturbance for this project, you have to include that road.
So I guess it's a timing issue. So they show it as existing, how long has it been existing, and when will it come towards a current project?
The road was installed approximately 2017.
We're considering the land as it stands now as our existing condition, so the road is not interesting. That's how we're looking at it, as if,
From a seeker standpoint, it's an existing condition. Okay, from a stormwater standpoint, I'm gonna defer to Matt, because he's a stormwater expert, not me. So, but from a seeker standpoint, it's part of the baseline that's out there. So we're not gonna review, you know, the environmental impacts of constructing a road that's already there, okay?
We added in, are we still at less than an acre?
I believe that's the concern. That's why I'm bringing it up. Is, I believe you're gonna be over an acre
Well,
of disturbance.
let's talk about what we're trying, what's going on. Okay, let's talk about the big picture. So, hang on, Don. Okay. We've had some experiences with solar projects. And our experience with solar projects, of which we've had 2, really 3, is that a lot more soil gets disturbed than people say will be disturbed. And it does cause problems because it can lead to water quality violations, it can lead to, you know, other people's property having water run on it, you know, also, or water with sediment, obviously. So what we don't want to do is play games with the numbers and not have the right soil erosion and sedimentation control on the site, and not have the right runoff control for the site as well. And you're, you know, Charlie, you're on a piece there, and then the road cuts away and goes down, right? That's Alexander. You're at the curve of Alexander, and there's a lot of change in slope as water runs off the site. So I think what Matt and Mike are saying is that they would be more comfortable with the SWIP for the project just having a SWIFT project saying what's going to be disturbed and how you're going to deal with it, than trying to avoid by artificially keeping the amount that's going to be disturbed. When you take vehicles on our crappy soils, that they destroy themselves. Okay, so you need to have control over what's running off the site until the 2 years it takes you to get the grass to grow there. You know, I mean, you tell us, well, there's not gonna be any disturbance because we're just gonna run equipment over it, and I'm telling you, it won't work in Waynesburg. Might work in, you know, Half Moon or someplace where you got a lot of sand, Rotterdam. It sure will not work with us.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, first, I'm not working the numbers to make it fit to us. I'm just using the existing surface conditions as a number, and I did provide all the existing surface and all the proposed surface conditions we have. In doing that, it explains how much water we're generating, where it's going. Also, where we would put erosion control. And one thing that didn't show up on the plans was where we were proposing to put erosion control downstream. Down in this area here where everything seems to drain down through here, I have an erosion control down there, because that's basically the off-site part of the property. So if there is something that comes off the site, that it would be caught at the bottom into that main, everything does drain right through here. Right, so I and it didn't show up on the drawing. Doug, as one of his comments, I need to show that.
Is there a sedimentation basin that you're proposing there? And
Well, that's what
how do you decide?
the fence or a silt sock will be, there's no basin.
Yeah, but he's proposed right now there, and I'm proposing a SWIFT because he's saying there's less than 1 acre. So they're proposing just temporary erosion sediment controls, no permanent structures.
If you're gonna ask us to say that all these roads is a disturbance, well, there's like a little over 2 acres of actual gravel roads there. So if you're gonna say that's a disturbance, then yes, we will be over that acre, and we would have to provide more things. But now we're talking about literally, doing a lot more work on the property, moving a lot more dirt. And in order to get it to say that those are existing.
But they'll be moved in. I mean, you know what the soil is like there.
Yeah.
And
But any construction site, you're gonna have movement on that, but you protect it with the erosion control downstream from running off.
Yeah, but
That's
the
how.
concern is you just said there's over 2 acres of gravel road that was installed there.
Well, that's
The
existing.
before anything was disturbed, it was a forest. You've now added 2 acres of impervious area, which DEC requires you to treat hydraulically, water quantity and water quality. You have over 1 acre of disturbance that was done that was unpermitted. So you're now increasing the hydrology and the runoff from this lot.
Matt, that's not correct, because in the beginning, there was a logging road in it with gravel. I didn't put that road. The road I put in are less than 1 acre. That
We
road
have to
down
go
to the
back.
beginning, that's a gravel road.
Your engineer just said there's.
Oh, he-
Well, there's based on existing conditions, 2.3 acres of gravel road on this 50-some acre parcel, not so much, I mean, it's not a lie, that's what the area accounts for. The rest of it is meadow.
Great.
Pretty
So
much.
this is the type 1 action, so we're looking at it
Right.
under siege.
I just need to know what numbers, whatever numbers you want me to use, that's the number I can use. I'm just presenting what I feel is the proper thing, even through DEC. If I was to call DEC and ask them, they were saying it's an existing site. It's gonna be up to you guys. They're not gonna say that it was built 4 years ago or 2 years ago, and it should have been, yes, it probably should have been permitted then, but they're not gonna look at it that way. But
I disagree.
they're gonna ask us to go, they're gonna say the town stormwater coordinator is the one that's gonna make that decision.
We don't have any stormwater.
But you don't have one, right? So,
We're not an MS4, but I want to get back to the reality of the situation. I'm not an engineer, I'm a lawyer, but I've been doing this for 35 years. And I've seen a lot of these sites, including the one out in Sharon. And I gotta tell you, the department initially downplayed the impacts of solar on stormwater. But the reality is the equipment that you use to install them causes a lot of running and a lot of dirty water to run off. So silt fences and silt socks are not gonna work. They just won't hold up there.
Well, they will through the smoke trap, but we're talking about,
They never
that's,
are installed.
that's construction, I'm talking, we're talking post-construction. We're talking post-construction, that's really.
I understand, but if you put a piece in there during construction, a lot of heavy rock, you will control it.
Well, of course.
And then you just leave it.
But
And it's post.
but the erosion control methods we're applying are more than suitable. If we do get to that point, we'll be making weekly inspections, so everything should be controlled. If there's sites that it's not doing, then people aren't doing their job.
And
That
they
point.
never do. No.
But, well, I do, so.
But it hasn't happened.
I do so, but I think we're talking more post-construction, which is
Well,
what.
we're trying to set the establishment of. There was disturbance and roads built on this property that were never permitted by DEC. We have altered the hydrology of this site. I mean, when you look at the construction activity permit and you look at the table 2, the last item on table 2 that has to be reviewed for a solar project is, has the project altered the hydrology? And if it has altered the hydrology, it doesn't matter if it's pervious or impervious. Just altering it from cover type and terrain and everything else, you're required to put post-construction practices.
Correct. But you're saying we've altered the project, on the site, and we haven't. I guess that's where.
The site has been altered.
You have done as part of this project, but the site itself is.
So there's a farm down the road, you put a bunch of farm roads in to make, that would be disturbed if we.
Yeah, a farmer cannot put in farm roads. And if it's over an acre of disturbance, then they have to get a SWIP. Yes, they do.
That's a question, it's literally a question. SWIPs, my understanding is that the way they work is that they pertain to the existing hydrology on the site, existing now at this moment, as compared to what it will be at the end of construction.
Yes, but there are things that's called greater common plan of development. And when there are things that have been done and unpermitted, DEC makes you correct those as you go forward with a project.
That long-standing policy.
I've had many conversations with DEC. I've dealt with more projects looking back and correcting those issues, and that has been Region 4's interpretation.
Matt, I had Chris Valenti down there, he's DEC officer, several times when I first got the property, and several times with more than one car. And their first comment was, "Maybe we're gonna look around here," and I said, "Yeah, go ahead." Their comment to me was, "Yes, we are going to." They were there for an hour, they came out, they never gave me no ticket, they were very fine with me, I was not breaking any rules. They were there several times. If I was doing anything wrong, it'd be documented.
Water. Not ECOs we're talking about. The ECOs, I don't even know if they know what a SWIP is, to be honest with you.
So where do you want me to go back to? How far do you want me to go back to? What's an existing condition going to be to work this way? Is it the road? Is it just the road? I mean, the road's not there. That's what you want me to do.
In my opinion, when you look at the historic photos, and you don't have to go back very many years, you can see how the site has changed. All that work has happened since 2004, which is when the permit came in, and 2015 is when green infrastructure came in. And if you go back on historic Google photos, I mean, it's plain as day, you can see the disturbance.
So you want us to go back to it being fully treed?
I don't think you even have to go back that far. You're gonna get to a point where you're over an acre. And this site is going to need a full. slope.
Okay, but if I do, I need to know what my surfaces I gotta do in order to calculate a pre and post. You're not telling me what to do. Get rid of the road and say it's all meadow?
I mean, the plan here says proposed 20-foot wide road. It's not.
It's proposed because it's what we're carrying into the site. The road's existing, as I shown on the disturbance map. This is all existing. There's a couple spots where it's close to 20 feet, so I said we're gonna widen it a little bit, and that was a total of like 0.1 acres or something like that. That's what I'm saying is our disturbance to build new road. To build new road, not to, I don't have to change the existing road. The existing laydown area, that's already existing. It's already a gravel bed, so we're gonna use that as a laydown, so there's no disturbance there.
So if you use it and it's impervious, then you're gonna have to treat it. You have to put dry swales in or whatever you're gonna have to do to treat it. Because this site has had the hydrology altered. I don't think there's any way you can argue that.
So I gotta look at the site as this can be existing, but it can't be, I don't have to treat existing. So you want me to say that there's no road there, and the road we're building is the new road, that's what I look at to do water quality.
That's
what we're
that
saying.
would be my understanding based on my interactions with DEC. Had this road been permitted by DEC and those impervious areas calculated previously, you wouldn't have to.
So there's 2.3 acres of road, okay, for argument's sake, right? Let's say we're only, well, if I go back, if I add, I'm not adding an acre of road if I only put in what we needed, okay? But I'm gonna take this road away, then that would be disturbance anyway. So leaving it, so either way, it's gonna be 2.3 acres of new road we're putting. Of impervious road.
Well,
We're not building a DEC road because it's already built.
That whole property lends itself to put a big retention pond at the bottom.
Yeah, I could put one in, we just didn't figure that way. I mean, like I said, it'll go down here. Everything,
Put some big weirs on it, you know what I mean? And
Well, yeah, 100, and that's.
It's the water
that's
quality
what-
control
That's
that's-
what DEC really wants.
it's the water quality control that really is more of a, especially on sites where you're not doing a lot of grading, trying to collect it and get it to some spot, that always becomes more of the collection. But this site here, like a lot of this drains out here, but it does end up coming back this way. So I'm sure we can do some. It just creates a pond down here, and now we'll be doing a full SWIP. Fire an NOI and permit, and do weekly inspections once they start construction.
What is the slope, basically, of the existing grade of the plateau?
I don't know offhand, but I know it's less than 10%. It's like 8%, 7%, something like that. It's flat enough where I can do filtering if I wanted to.
Well, that's the other requirement for solar is depending on the slope. You either have to put level spreaders in and.
Once I need three ones, right, yeah.
And the disconnect, basically, based on the spacing of the solar panels and the green space.
Yeah, I mean, it actually will work because the contours go this way, so I can get level spreaders.
Well, yeah, again, so.
But I
You
just
don't
gotta
have
redesign
that
it.
information, doesn't, I mean, it's not presented on a plan to say, the slope of the plateau is at 8% or 10% or 15% or whatever it is, because that drives the requirements from DEC.
Well, because we weren't planning to do it, but that's where we're gonna go, then that's what we'll have to do.
And talk to Doug, because he should spend a lot of time inspecting Oak Hill for the towns.
Yeah, I got no problem doing it. I just, if that's the way we're being directed to do, that's what I'll do.
I'm just finding that you don't count construction disturbance of the equipment running up in every single row of panels. Because, Bobcats are usually what they're using, and you got two-wheel ruts.
No.
Basically every row.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, I have personally received correspondence from DEC that any cutting and felling of trees by mechanical means, not even rubbing, pulling the stumps out, is considered disturbance. And I've got that in writing from DEC. Region 4 and,
Machinery is
Yes.
really in the ground
Yes.
around here.
yes.
Yeah, that's a change.
Right,
That's a change.
So-
Yeah. I mean, it's a change in the past 2-3 years.
Yes, yes. It's something that was never considered before. It's not literally written in the book yet, but it might come out in 25, who knows? But it's not there in the book. It's not, they consider it disturbance, but it's not a definition that's disturbance. That's the problem. Like, the guys like I have, I go and say, well, it's not a disturbance. Well, yes, it is. Okay, then I'll create a disturbance, but now it goes over. Now it kicks you over that threshold that you might be, might throw you over the 5-acre threshold even. And when technically it's not a disturbance by definition, but that's a whole thing.
But I just want to impress upon you, though, we're not doing this to.
Oh, I know.
We're doing this because of what has happened before,
Okay,
you know, and.
I have good
and-
direction now. I know what direction I need to go in, and if I have any other things specific, but, okay, all right. That covers a lot.
Bringing, the town solar law requires trees to be minimum 8 foot tall and 3-inch diameter breast height. And Don and I talked about this on the phone just the other day. Usually height is for cypress trees and diameters for deciduous, what we're talking about. But because the code says and, then it's gotta be both.
We updated the plan, so all 8-foot trees and, the, type of deciduous tree put in things. He doesn't know if they're 8-foot because they'll be 3-inch caliber greater. So, but yeah, so that was just, and that's already done. We just haven't submitted an updated resolution.
Somewhere in the 12-month guarantee the plan, we see the contractor, but.
We require a landscape unit to ones that we've done before, and I can send them to you if I haven't already.
That was no problem.
We have a standard decommissioning agreement form too, so just email me. Did I send them to you already or not yet? Right. I thought I sent them to Mr. Snyder. No? To your attorney? Yeah, I'd be happy to. Yeah, okay, great.
We already touched on, like, kind of, I wanted to get over and send it. Another comment was, the lighting plan. The blackout. There was something. Having the applicant clarify if the proposed lighting is of manual or auto shut off. Because I don't think the town allows for photo cell.
It's capable, and the new electrical plan I got has it in there now. Yep. It'll have manual and it'll still be motion lights, but it'll have manual. It'll show up.
So yeah, motion lights are okay, but you still have to have an override. Let's see, electrical diagram comments. There was a drawing note that mentioned National Grid is extending the 13.2 kV overhead feeder on Alexander Road. And just wondering, like, where that starts and ends. It's just kind of drawn as a line, but you don't know how far that's taking place.
That's, you know that. I don't know what it is. I mean, I thought they were just putting another, in between pole in to make the turn into the site.
I mean, if it's that simple.
That's on the draw, I think that's on the drawing. Where that new pole is gonna be, the National Grid's put it in the right of way. But I didn't know of any, I don't know for the other part.
You're not gonna put
Yeah, right there. They're putting this, the line runs here, they're putting a pole right here, then we're putting the 4 inch, it'll be 5 poles total. 5 poles total, one be, first two being National Grid, and next 3 being.
So the drawing shows 4 inverters, 2 switchboards, and 3 transformers. And I'm drawing C100, there's just 2 big rectangular pads, so
There's only two equipment pads.
it'd be good to see like an elevation view to see how this stuff is.
I just got those this morning.
Okay.
On the pads, and my understanding is inverters and things don't require pads.
Yeah, the string inverters.
There's no pads, so we really only have 2 pads for the
The
equipment.
string inverters are on the end of the panel runs. We should talk to the fire department, because I believe the fire departments need to be able to access the inverters. That's why a lot of solar farms have gone to centralized inverters, so they don't have to run an access road all the way down the end of the panel run, get to the inverters. So, that's been my experience talking to all the fire departments, is because that's, if there's ever gonna be a fire, it's gonna be at the inverter.
We haven't, but has this been submitted to the fire chief or anything? Or I guess it will be. No. Bring it up.
So,
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of the solar farms that I've reviewed, the solar companies have chose to go to centralized inverters versus string inverters.
Straight or more required.
Yeah, but it requires more site work to get that access down the end of the panels where the inverters are, so that the emergency access can get to the inverters.
I guess we want to see where these 17 inverters are.
I think we had a diagram, didn't we do it? There was a string diagram, I don't know. You want to see where they are on the site plan.
Right, because then it needs an access road.
Then we'll,
They
okay.
have to know where to go.
Yeah, they're on a riser diagram, so I don't really know exactly where they are, but I'll find out.
So that's the village of Delanson
Yeah.
Fire.
All right, okay.
You should definitely.
We'll reach out to
meet
them.
with
Right.
They may know who the chief is.
We'll find them.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you before I leave, and then I'll think of it.
As way down areas, I just mentioned providing details that we're gonna have to, make those larger or thicker to support whatever materials you're bringing in.
On the plan, where is the lake?
It's right, well, this is an older plan, by the way. I just don't realize that. Lay down areas over this area here. There's a big. That's an old plan. That's not the plan, we just.
It's where you got gravel from.
Yeah, there's a full gravel area that's 200 by 300, which is more than enough. For what they need for storing the towels. There's no trailer or anything like that, it's just basically dropping stuff off and putting it down.
Yeah.
Should be like 426 maybe, something like that. Right.
Town study, town solar code references. Title 19. Section that references another subsection that asks for, the noise level during construction to be predicted, so that should.
It's in there, but there's not specific to what it is.
Yeah.
That's the thing, they messed that up.
What we mess up?
Yeah, I didn't have the soil map coded that way.
Yeah.
Erosion control, but most of the other stuff is gonna change a little bit, but it's, the information's there.
And I just repeat, again, sure where
Right.
Operation and maintenance, so there's sort of revised document that's gonna be provided. So we're going to do that.
If we're doing, just thinking about that, since we're changing a little bit on the stormwater, do you have an access agreement that you do? If you do have a management system on site? You don't have one?
We do not. no.
Yes. Right.
And so,
That's brand new.
yeah, we mentioned we're gonna add all this stuff, we haven't seen it yet.
Well, we just.
Also, traffic bridge for construction delivery.
Geotech, we haven't started, usually we started to get to about this point. So just a lot of work and effort, and project's gotta change and we have to move things or something, so, we're looking to order that. That's gonna take a little bit, so we're hoping that doesn't hold us up to move forward. Geotech,
So the geotech's gonna dictate how you guys, your means and methods for installing.
yeah, they know, they already know, but
Yeah.
they haven't done the formal geotechnical
Yeah.
things. For their, even for their permitting for that, they'd have to do it anyway. Not even if it was for the town, they'd be doing it anyway, so.
Yeah, because, I mean, if it is rock, if they, which, I'm pretty sure it's rock, yeah. The ground screws may not work, or they may have to do the pre-drilling, pilot hole drilling of the rock to allow for the ground screws.
That's what they're,
Which, again, increases your disturbance.
So,
Well, I think when you have the public hearings, people are gonna ask, what's it gonna sound like during construction, right? So we're gonna kind of have to know, so you can either do that worst case,
Yeah.
you know. But how do you know if you can do what kind of stormwater control do you do with rock underfoot?
Post construction, you mean?
Yeah.
It makes it hard, it makes it harder. The good thing is they've got elevation on the site,
Okay.
so,
there's soil on top of the rock, just some of the areas that were cleared were refilled with rock that was crushed and put on top, so there's, it's not rock right to the surface, just up in the top area, up in here, it was mostly, the rest of it's pretty, there's enough soil. And the vehicle stuff, Doug talked about that, just giving a description. I mean, more than likely, we're just coming from the throughway to 88 to 27 and down 28 down Alexander Road, just to give a description, unless the board wanted something more detailed, like a highway map showing where it's gonna go, but I assume things are gonna come from, mostly from the north or from.
yeah, I think we would,
87.
I think the real question is, do we want the tractor trailers and deliveries driving past the high school going that way, 395, or stay on 20 and come off 20.
Okay, it's gonna, I think they're gonna want to go 20 anyway.
Yeah, they're not gonna, right. I mean, they're flat.
Even though 395 is a state road, I think with the high school right there, you comfortably be.
And in there, there's, like a construction assessment of the road, so that if there's, residual damage or something from the heavy equipment that, the town isn't part of it.
It was the Alexander Road, actually. We don't-
Yeah.
And then nothing will be parked, everything will be turned in, there's no reason to park on Alexander Road and unload and bring it into the site. Yeah, plenty of access, so I was just gonna write a response, to that, how we plan on, how we think the traffic's gonna come.
But we don't condition develop to use 320 instead of
Okay.
the southern end of Alexander.
Right, and one thing to consider is if you've ever pulled out of Alexandria onto 20, there's a dip. And you can't see the cars coming towards you.
Well, when you're in a truck, you can. When I'm going out of my track, so you said high enough up.
Right, there you go.
We can-
When you're in a regular car, it is a truck.
And if we have to, which we've done before, on the one, we can put signs on both ends, as trucks entering, so people are aware, not for the truck going out, but for the car driving 20. Putting signs up on a daily basis when they are making deliveries is easy to do too.
So we'll probably do like a pre-construction survey of Alexander Road, like take photos of it, video is usually what they do. And then we have something to.
Right.
And deal with Bill Reed, who's the highway superintendent. on that.
Besides that,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just because, Alexander Road is not gonna see the volume of this, type of heavy equipment volume ever, and that, you start doing that and for spring conditions or something, it's gonna start falling apart.
a lot of it depends on when you do the work. So, that's been a problem in Sharon as well. They tried to do drainage and that's what I'm looking for, a dirt road, Charlie, you've seen it down there, and they made a terrible mess. Now, this is asphalt, so that's great, but, try to do it when it's dry, try. And so it'll just be a bigger mess.
That won't happen.
so if we're not gonna schedule a public hearing, then we'd like to next week.
Yeah, no, we would really like to have more detail on, like I said, if you don't have the geotech, just describe worst case, what you expect you'll do.
Well, it's more the big ticket to submit now is the stormwater stuff anyway, so. Which I'm not disagreeing to, I just need to do it, so, but I can probably have it ready by the next meeting, I don't know if we'll have enough time to look at it at all, but we're just trying to get our stuff in order to make our final, they still have final commitments to make financially and stuff, so public hearing is a big plus.
So we can build in the dry season.
I do have a question, and the panels going down this slope, kind of at the bottom of the.
Down here?
Yeah, right in there, it's looking like that's borderline, from my experience looking at solar project, that is borderline too steep to put the panels on. And that's gonna need grading to flatten that out.
Well, our, I don't know, what do you call your guys who have the panel? Whatever, the engineers, they're technical guys, they're okay with that. Because the way because there's only, because the way the posts are sitting, I guess, they're not really placing posts on different.
Is that much reason?
No,
Yeah, I don't think that, the only thing that changed was,
You're dropping like
well,
14 to 16 feet over like
yeah, it's,
12
I don't know
to
now.
15 feet, which is a pretty severe
Yeah, because this is,
elevation change for
I don't know if that's.
solar panel racks. No, that's what I'm saying. Include, if you need to flatten it, put the grade, show the grading that's needed. is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, that's the right one.
Yeah. 15%. And so no cutting or filling is done to alter the natural replacement. So. They may have to go with that. That's over 15%. Over that section, yeah.
Was it just anything or a dimension on the area, or was it?
So it's section J, says, no solar panels are replaced on slope of 15% or greater as averaged over 50 horizontal feet. No cutting or fill may be done to alter the natural slopes, replacement of panel arrays.
Yeah, that would be one fit, because that 50 feet's not that far.
Then you don't meet the height, above the grade.
Well, they have, again, we have little room to the bottom that they have to move it, but I'm not. I know it was looked at, I don't know why they said they were okay, but.
Yeah, I like I said, I've reviewed a lot of solar plans, and to me, that grading looks a little steep, but if our code is 15%.
More or
More.
Yeah, that's definitely more than 50%.
Yeah, but are you saying the poles can't be any higher? Because in a lot of the other jobs, they make the difference from the graduation of the poles. The short poles in the beginning and longer poles in the end, they maintain that. 7% was the number we were on.
Your max panel and not above the point.
I mean, well, I don't think that it has anything to do with the pole height. In this case, it's the natural slope.
We're putting panels on 25% now with the new designs they have. It's all about the angle. They get more than that, you can't get the
From
angle.
efficiency and stuff like that. This is
That's why
more
they
of,
go more. They can put them anywhere they want, but it's the
Essentially
angle
just,
of the
you know,
panel. is what really slow.
yeah, functionally and
We'll look
efficiency.
at it. Yeah, they might say, oh, there's only 3 pounds, no big deal, not gonna be a lot of fish. I don't know what they, but we'll ask, we'll find out.
So I asked if it's getting a response from the county planning board, I think it's county planning referral. I mean, it's down.
I don't think we've gotten a response back yet.
Only
It
30
was-
days.
Steve never lets it go over 30 days, so.
Well, I don't know when the town, we thought it was submitted prior to that, but then that was when Finn's actions was, so it may not have gotten done.
Right,
Until
no,
after the
I
last one.
believe it was sent. I believe it was sent, and we'll verify that, and I've got to call Steve anyway, so. We don't need that before we schedule a public hearing, you know.
And we're really seem to have on this one.
So we'll be back next month, we'll submit, get something to Doug and everybody in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, we're good, yeah. I mean, we kind of had the discussion the last couple of meetings, but never, and
Yeah.
that was in their last meeting, so we didn't have it at all.
Yeah.
So, but that's my whole, I mean, I'm just gonna give what I think is. Then if you say, no, we want it this way, then I just change my way to how you would want it, so.
It's easier for you to deal with Doug because we're only here once a month, so. Doug can deal very well.
No problem, we had we have good communication. with them.
Yeah, I mean, that's important, because I think, you know, we can move this thing forward, we just gotta get everything.
Okay.
I know, there's no more, I think, it's a thorny issue. You know how to do it.
Problem is, we just have a lot of experience with silence. And not just in the main.
You want the fire chief's name?
I got you.
His name's Kevin Morrison.
As anyway, you dig deep.
518-657-9274.
No, I did. I did, however, it's one friend. Friend, that's your one for
All right, well, we'll get, I guess there's nothing else we'll get out of here, so we can.
You guys
That's
want
what's
to
going.
table it?
Yeah, we'll make, I'll, motion to table. Roads, Cruiser Energy Solar. Special use permit, well, June 20th. Aaron Smith? Yes. Board Member Hoffman?
Yes.
You got me. Board Member Walpole?
Yes.
Board Member Novak?
Yes.
Board Member Howard?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate the. Yeah. I'm good. Here's a guy that's earned his keep there, Robert Tuttle.
Yeah, that's not me.
No?
No. I'm here for him, but yeah,
He owes you.
yeah, give me shit. He's not up before 3 in the morning like I am, I guarantee that.
All right. What's the update? New business.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Nice.
give me a second.
Oh, give us what you got.
All right, well, let me see, in 2016, we got our CO for the house. At the time, we had just a 1-story, it's a cape. The upstairs doesn't even have stairs to it. There's nothing up there at all. We designed the house we eventually, her and I, we want to go upstairs, would go downstairs, 1 bedroom, the kitchen, the bath. We had our final electrical on that. We had all of our rough ins on that. I mean, everything's laid out for it. And we had this assessed because Bob financed the project, he owned the property, so we got it from him, he financed it for us. But he put his son, or him and my son are on the mortgage together on the deed. We just had it assessed so that they could get this split off. And I find out that if you have a second kitchen in the house, it has to be classified as a 2-story or a 2-family. So that's why I'm here. I mean, it's already there. It's not a 2-family home. It's just our family. And there is 2 kitchens though.
You're not kosher and taken.
Well, no.
Okay. 'Cause that's a really weird rule, because if you're Jewish and you keep kosher, you have to have 2 kitchens. So, yeah.
We'll ask you again.
I don't know. That's the state, right?
Yes. So, yeah. Kitchen, bathrooms,
There's a one bathroom, where you put a second kitchen in.
You can actually have you can have living space, above a garage.
Yeah.
With a bathroom and a bedroom, but the minute you put a microwave there, you have means to cooking, and now becomes a second family home.
Oh, wow, it's a microwave now, huh? Because it used to be you'd had to have a stove.
It's a cooking appliance now.
Oh, wow, I suppose, yeah, that's my daughter. Yeah. Right, I grew up, everybody had a second kitchen. I mean, big family dinners, canning, who wants all that stuff in their kitchen when you're trying to put your garden in? I don't get it, but whatever I have to do, I think I got everything together to ask you to get.
For the record, I did not tell him.
He
came here on his own. Okay?
No, actually,
Well, I didn't,
they tell me.
I didn't get you you didn't get a violation from this.
Oh, no. Right.
I think the problem is that if they ever sell it and all this stuff's in it, I think somebody could rent that out.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you could,
They could rent
it's
that.
actually separated, right? I mean, the laundry room is between us and the stairs upstairs, so.
For a 2-family. And he's got,
It's type
he's
2.
got plenty of parking.
Yeah, the type 2.
Plenty of water.
The site plan.
Yeah, and the septic and the well can have yield and capacity for, you know, if this was.
Well, yeah, because it's based off the bedrooms that are already in the house, so that doesn't change, yeah.
And we're not on a state highway and we're not,
No, this is.
No.
how big is the lot?
Huge.
Now, it was referred to the county.
So what is that already, so which building are we talking about?
With the grade down the hill,
So the upper one or the lower?
lower.
All the lower.
The upper one's a
lower
garage.
upper.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the
lower
lower
one's
drops
the house.
down.
On the map, the top floors.
Yeah. The plan north is.
Okay,
Is that on 7?
so then. what is
No,
bigger?
Schoonmaker,
Yeah, so the railroad tracks, you see the railroad tracks in the background there?
between Youngs and Oak Hill.
So then, what is the other, is that another dwelling?
There's a garage.
The upper one's a
No,
garage.
just a
Oh,
garage.
it's a garage, okay,
Yeah,
so
it's a garage.
this would be the third. Per se. Yeah. There's not a coaster.
We'll be heading there soon, if you're showing up late.
So who wants to make the motion?
What's this be? Board member Novak,
Yes.
board member Walpole.
Yes.
Chairman Spat. Yes. Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board member Hoffman,
Yes.
board member Howard.
Yes.
So I see, question for you. If you're changing your property lines, that's one thing. What about adding, because we bought the 5 acres next to us there, but it's still separate deed. So we can merge, that's
But
pretty
that
simple.
would be a lot line adjustment, because you're just taking the middle line and eliminating here, and you come have an application, we would do what we did at the first
And
application.
resurvey,
Yeah.
Or the second one, and then it's an administrative thing, so it's one meeting, basically.
like, if we do that,
Yeah.
who knows? I'm expecting my daughter and grandson to move in with us either, so, you know, somebody might need to build a house, so we'll leave it, I think, for now, it's a separate lot.
Probably safer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is if you also wanted to sell that lot, then you're not going back in for.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. We bought it so nobody would build there. Neighbors love that we did that. All right, so the 18th, 20th. Other than that, I'm all set. All
We did
righty.
you on early. We did you on early.
Okay.
Yes.
I learned some things, one, solar panels are ugly.
All right, we have no-
Everybody, thank you.
We got no minutes. You want my notes?
Sure. Yep. Are you doing these hours? What? Reading these?
Trying to decipher that? If you have questions.
I doing it?
If someone has questions, they can't read it. No. Who did the notes last time? They're good. Who did them?
The minutes?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, they're good. There's a couple of things I think, I'm jumping the meeting though. But I think the spelling is wrong on the subjects, like,
I failed English a few times.
John Keener, isn't that John Ferguson? Or is,
Yeah.
okay. Very good. Yeah, that was March.
That was the March.
Oh, this is March, am I back in March? Oh, this is March, yeah.
Yeah.
You did that one or did I do that one?
You did. Wait a second, where are we at? We're in
So we don't have
March.
it, we're doing March.
I did February, she did March.
I did that.
And she wasn't happy about it either, so don't let her fool you.
Happy about what?
The minutes.
Nightmare, yeah. Well, what happened was the Zoom spits out a transcript
Oh.
and it's as quality as you would imagine. I had to go back and fill it out and delete a whole bunch of crap. germane to.
On page three, I think that's supposed to be John Jurgensen.
Yes.
It's all the way down the bottom.
I read it.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
That's the other way.
Yeah.
So did we already go through these last meeting then?
We couldn't vote on because there wasn't enough. Yeah.
Oh, you guys went through.
I gave somebody, the fixed version. Yeah. I don't know.
All right, cool. I will. Then, oh.
So I gave it to you, the fixed version of it, but I will email it to you. It's okay. It's in the computer.
Yeah.
So if you wanna,
Can we make a motion to approve like amended
yes,
March 18th? I can make a motion to approve March 18th or March 21st, planning board minutes.
I wasn't here.
you can.
Canada.
You weren't here in March.
I mean, it was a good story, not everything I did, but
I would
Jeff,
love to.
Jeff not here right now, so we need to wait for him to get back before he votes. Or will he leave?
I can't vote. 'cause I'm also-
So, yeah, wait, wait.
You know what? Teresa, you know what we haven't done yet that, I keep getting questions about? Haven't set the TDE for Parkview. And I remember we had a conversation, you said we can do it at the next meeting. Even though they weren't on the agenda, we can still.
Yeah, I thought we did that. We didn't do that till last meeting?
No. No, we didn't at the last meeting, because I actually forgot to ask you about it.
So do we have?
Estimates are in your binders.
Okay, so we should, before we go home, we should vote on that for sure. They don't have to be there for that. You're just picking who the team is, so we can finish the contract. I think it's Doug, isn't it?
You know what, I'm like, talking about parking. Yeah,
There he is.
Now we can vote. Yes, yeah, I'm gonna take out parking.
Yeah, but I didn't see it.
Yeah.
We're voting on the, March.
I think we talked about.
I made the motion to approve the March 21st minutes.
All right. Board Member Houghton,
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt. You were here. Board Member Hoffman.
Yes.
Abstain.
Or Doug did.
Did I do that right?
What about the April meeting minutes? Do we have those? No.
Second.
So in your binders, that's response to request from Parkview, and I thought we had discussed them. Do you all remember what the numbers were and stuff?
I wasn't here.
Okay, so.
They're always. It's negligible. You know,
And I think we discussed the number of meetings that,
yeah,
were.
by the time you wait, if you basically, if you level them.
Yeah.
It's about the same.
Do you know who the companies were? Ingalls and,
Fine.
Yeah.
those are the only two.
But I think we talked about, it came more on to who had more experience with. The local. So,
Yeah, no, we haven't. So, I mean, do you want to look at them again before you make a decision, or are you comfortable, making a decision?
Stay with that.
I mean, I think it's just good practice. I don't want to necessarily always go to the same engineer with TD just because it makes sense for us, because otherwise people are gonna stop. responded back to the proposals. If they did it every time overall, I've been awarded to the same one.
And I will say that the other one, did he reach out to you?
But in this case, we have somebody that now has experience with us and the local laws make sense for those things, but I think we should consider in future, once, when, if as long as the proposals are within, which they usually always are, just like any kind of, when we have third-party inspection testing, the engineers' billing rates and sampling rates are within, one might be $10 more an hour for this, but it's $10 less for that, so.
Who solicits the engineers?
We send them out.
You send them out?
Yeah.
And there's approved vendors that. the
Yeah,
town
like
uses.
CT Mail was one that didn't respond.
Yeah.
We have a few that don't respond.
Really?
Well, and some of them are working for the developer, that's why.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just saying.
So-
Well, I mean, that's, English was here today.
But that, I understand. I'm not, it's not, they're not like lawyers. Lawyers are just on one side, okay? There's nothing that says that they can't appear before you in the project that they're not reviewing, okay? If you want to make that rule, I'm comfortable with that rule. But tonight,
Yeah, no,
let's just vote on who you would like to hire to review Parkview.
I'd rather hire Doug, yeah.
English didn't seem very well prepared than I thought. Personally. I hope not.
Okay, somebody make a motion and then we'll have a vote.
Make the motion to, retain Doug Cole as the town designated engineer, prime engineering for the Parkview.
Chairman Schmidt,
Yes.
Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris,
I'll stay and say, review the proposals.
Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Board Member Howard.
Yes.
Now can we make?
That's still been different. Motion to abstain.
No, what's going on?
Third.
No,
Motion to adjourn.
Chairman Schmidt, Vice Chairman Harris,
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman.
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Board Member Howard.
Except that. 10 o'clock, geez.